Hello, everybody. Welcome to our text formatting webinar. I'm just going to give everybody a moment to get settled and get joined in before we start. Please keep in mind that you are more than welcome to use the Q&A panel located at the bottom there. If you have any questions, my colleague John is here with me, and he will be able to help out with answering any of your questions you have throughout the webinar. Okay, just give it another moment here. All right, let's get started. So hello everybody. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Nick. I do have my colleague John here with me today. As I had said, he'll be taking a look at the Q&A. Feel free to use the Q&A panel, and any questions you may have throughout it, you can put them in there and John will be able to answer them. Um, In addition to that, so what are we going to be going through today? So what we're going to go through is we are going to be going over how to format both editor and spreadsheet objects inside of Gravity. Okay. We'll go over how we can generate a print preview and also how we can generate the entire report as well once it's finished. Okay. So this is being recorded, just so you know, and I will be sending out a follow-up email with the recording later today. Okay. So with that being said, what I want to go through now is I want to just open up um, Gravity here, and you'll notice that I'm inside of an ACFR right now. So whether you're using an ACFR or a budget book, both of these situations, or both of these different types of reports, rather, will still use this same type of text formatting. Okay. So whether you have an act for a budget book, inside perhaps your supporting documents, you may have a design folder or a style setup folder, and you're going to see a sheet that says text formatting slash style setup. It'll be called one or the other. And when you open it up, you will notice that um, it has a number of different things in it, right? So we have different styles, different rules we need to follow. And you'll notice as you scroll further down, you have them for both editor documents and spreadsheets. Okay. So we're going to go through both of these and how we can use each of these. Okay. So the first thing to note is you'll notice in column C for me, and it could be different for you. I have the different style names. Okay. So we have heading one, heading two, three, and so on, right? And different options here. In the columns after it, you'll notice from column D to column K, I have different rules that I need to follow in order to achieve this style. Okay. So you'll notice, for example, heading one, right? I need to use font size 14 and I need to align it to the left in order for this style to work in your report. So you're probably wondering, for anybody that's new to Gravity here, that why why do I need to take a look at this? Why can't I just go inside of a document and start changing things, right? If I highlight this, it looks like I can change it to 14, I can put it to the left and it works, right? So what's the importance of this? Okay. So as you may or may not know, everything in Gravity is being pulled from a template. And if you want to see what the template is called, you can always click on the three dots of your report, go to properties, and you can see the template file. Okay, so we have ACFR template v4 in my case. Okay, now that template has all of these different styles created in it and will be the only styles that work when we try to print preview or generate the report. If we aren't following one of these styles, it's going to revert back to being regular body text, and I'll show you an example of that shortly. Okay. So why do we do this? What's the purpose, right? So let's say I'm working in the introductory section. My colleague John is working in the financial section. Perhaps my eyes aren't as good as John's, right? I'm typing in font size 12. Maybe I like Arial. Maybe John likes to type in Times New Roman. right? So when we go ahead and generate the report, the introductory and the financial section, they won't have any unity, right? They won't be uniform. So by following a style and following a style setup sheet, we're able to ensure that we have the accuracy throughout the entire report. Okay. So for example, if I open up that letter of transmittal that we were seeing, right? You'll notice that when I went ahead and I highlighted this January 21st, 2026, I am able to change it, right? And it looks like it's changing, but we really want to make sure we grab the space after as well. So you can do this by highlighting and just grabbing the space after. Or an easier way to do this would be to just triple left click on that area. And whether it's a single line or it's a whole paragraph, you'll notice that it grabs that extra space. Okay. So once I have this now, maybe I want to triple click on this. I want to go ahead and go down to maybe I want to make this one heading center, heading one center, right? So we need that font size 14 and we need to center it and we don't have any other rules there. Okay. So I'll go ahead, triple click again, font size 14. I want to click on this more options here and I can then center it. Okay. If we wanted to add space afterwards, you can add a space after the paragraph just to separate this a little bit. Okay. We don't want to get in the habit of adding spaces like this. Okay. Next, if I perhaps I want this line, maybe I want to have it as a heading as well, but not too drastic, maybe just a heading 4 just so it's bolded. Okay, so I could triple click, 10 bold, right? And I believe that would be the only and left alignment, which we can double check here as well. Okay, so as you go through here, you're able to change the different areas inside of different documents. Now, of course, your reports have already been formatted, right? This is more so if you're adding in a new document, right? Say you have a new document you need to add into your report this year. You bring it in, and it's got different styles attached. You're doing a print preview. It's not looking correct. You can always come into that, open up your style setup sheet and go ahead and reformat the area. So as I continue down, you can see we have different options for body and body indent. These ones quite simple. So body text, remember, it'll just be, we can see a font size 10 and we want it to be justified. Okay, so change it to font size 10 and we'll change the to justified. Okay, and you can do the same with anywhere else, but you'll also notice that we have that body indent, right? So people indent different ways. Some people use a tab button, some people use spaces. We want to ensure that when we are going ahead to indent something, that we use this decrease and increase indent button. Okay. So you'll notice if I increase the indent here, we can see it indents, right? If I were to do that for this paragraph instead, we can see that it indents. Okay. So always just using this button, and you can see we have up to a third indentation level. So you can do this by just triple clicking. This would be level 1, level 2, level 3, right? Now each of your reports will be different. They won't all be set up like mine, but you'll still have the same type of rules to follow in order to achieve it. Okay, so if we wanted to add, again, if we wanted to make sure that we have a little bit of space after this, we'll add a space after here. Perhaps we want to add a space after this one as well. Maybe we want to just separate all of these a little bit. Okay. Now we get into different areas here where we're talking about what's in the actual report, right? So maybe I'll go ahead here, triple click, and on text formatting, maybe we want it to be another heading. So I'm going to do heading 4 is again. So we just wanted font size 10, bold, and then that alignment. Okay. Now, when I triple click here, I'm going to add that space after. So for these areas here, what I wanted to show you a little bit more is we are able to have list bullets and list numbering. Okay. So let's say that I wanted to apply list bullets or numbering. Okay. So let's say introductory section. Um, Perhaps letter of transmittal. If I wanted this to be a numbered list, I just want to click on that numbered list there, and we can see it becomes a numbered list. Okay. If this financial section was also to be a numbered list, perhaps I want it to be um, list numbering level 2 or 3. You can see that when I click, it now goes to 1A, right? So just using that increase or decrease indent button to control the list numbering level. Okay. Now I'm going to turn this off because I want to show you something else as well. One thing I'm able to do here is if I wanted to say you have a document that you have that's pretty much done, you're just added in a new line or a couple new sentences to it. You are actually able to copy the format as long as the format is already in the sheet. So I wouldn't be able to go to a different, if I had two editor documents open, I wouldn't be able to copy a format from here onto this one, but within the same sheet I can. Okay. And how I can do this is I'll triple click on the one I want to copy. I'll click on the paint format button, and then I can go ahead and paint it over the format. Okay. Again, ensuring that we have that um, space after the line as well. Okay. Please remember, if you have any questions, feel free to use that Q&A chat. My colleague John will be more than happy to assist. So the next thing is same thing for the bulleted lists. Okay, so if I wanted to add in a bulleted list, I can do that. And I'm able to increase the amount of indentation to apply different levels of bulleted list. Okay, go ahead, paint format this one. Okay, so as we come through, one thing, I'm just going to change these to font size 10. Go ahead and add a space after. So right here for this statistical section, I'm going to copy it and paste it down here. Okay. We can see that we do not have in our report, we don't have a font size 17 that we can use. Okay. So if I wanted to go ahead, maybe I want to make this font size 17, right? Um, and I want to see if this works. Maybe I want it to be also um, pink in this area. Okay. So you can see on this page, it does look like it works, okay? However, when I go ahead and do the print preview, we're going to see what happens here, okay? So when we're going through, you can see we also have bold, italic, underline, bold, underline. You may also have color codes here as well. Okay. So any color codes you have, you'll have a color character color, which will be a font color that you're able to apply. Okay. And there'll be you'll see it'll be like a hashtag with 6 digits in here. It could be numbers and letters. Okay. And you would just copy that color code. And if you wanted to change it, click on the plus and paste that color code into this area. Then you'd be able to see those different areas inside those different colors in your report. Okay. So if I wanted to print preview this to see how this would look, what I can do is if I click on the three dots of the specific document and I go down to generation, I can click on print preview. I'm just going to leave apply auto styles on and the other ones turned off, and I'll click open, and you'll see it's going to start generating a print preview of this document. So the reason why we would do a print preview, right? Like we can generate the whole report if we wanted to look at this document, but that's going to take a lot longer than a single document to generate, right? So once it generates, we can see there it's added in everything we had wanted to, with the exception of the that statistical section color, right? So we don't have this pink inside of this area. Okay, so we want to make sure that we're adhering to the different style setup area. Okay. So exit out of these. And as I continue further down, you can see that we do get into a spreadsheet as well. Okay, so I'm going to go over how we can format a spreadsheet as well in this area. Please, if you have any questions, continue using the Q&A, and my colleague John will be able to assist. So I'm going to go ahead now and I'm going to open up, just going to reload here quick. This statement of net position that I've kind of unformatted. Okay. So as I continue down, you can see we have that spreadsheet, as I'd said. We have different options for table headings, right? So if we wanted to change this statement of net position to a different table heading, we could do that, right? Maybe I want to um, merge these lines. And there's no need to triple click or anything like that when we're inside of a spreadsheet. We are able to just apply the different areas. So I'm going to go ahead and apply font size 11, bold, and center. Okay. So I'll come in here, 11, bold, and clicking on that more options, apply centered. Okay. And these two here as well, you're able to do the same thing. So maybe I want to keep these centered as well, right? And we are able to bold them, okay? Now, you saw here we have font size 11. Just go ahead. I'm just going to change these to 11. Okay. So then we get into these different areas, and you'll notice that we have different options for table text. So basic table text is going to be font size 9 and to the left. You see we have numbers right, center, and as well we have indentation levels, which I'll go over shortly. But you'll notice we have the same options smaller. Okay, so it's not uncommon to have different options for table text sizes in your report. And if this is the case, you are able to change the font size and perhaps it'll keep it all to one page as opposed to having different areas in your report. Say something was 3 pages long, you just wanted it to be 2 pages, perhaps changing the font size down a little bit will change it. Keep in mind that even though you're changing it from font size 9 to font size 7, it is not going to be that drastic when you print preview. Okay. These things again are created inside the template, and the template will dict that they will just be probably a couple points smaller, maybe 0.25, as opposed to the two uh, going from 9 to 7, the two digit change. Okay, so as I continue, we can see these ones are already applied to table numbers to the right. Okay, if we wanted to go ahead and change to the left, you can see these ones are. But more importantly, you can see I have a few here that are indented, right? Now, inside a spreadsheet, we don't have that decrease or increase indent option, right? So how can we go ahead and apply those levels of indentation? Well, you can see here when I scroll further over that we need to apply spaces. Okay, so 2 spaces is one level of indentation, 4 for 2, and 6 for 3. You could have more than that. I've seen it go up to 10 for 5, but more commonly, you could also have a level 4 indentation, which would be 8 spaces. So, how could we apply these? So, I can click on these different areas. I could go ahead and click up here and just apply 2 spaces. Okay. And I could go ahead and maybe I want to apply 2 spaces here. I'm going to show you what happens if I apply 3 instead. So I'm going to apply 3 to this area. 2, and then maybe I want to apply 4 here because I want it to indent a little bit further. Okay. So you can continue to go through these different areas and update them. You can see we have the option for body text as well. So if you have a body text before the spreadsheet, you could have that inside of there. We have a footnote as well. So we can apply a foot size of 6 to a footnote. So if I wanted to merge these here, go ahead and merge them. And then I'm just going to decrease this to a font size of 6. So continuing through, we can see we have this table decrease empty space. Okay, so I want to show you what this does. So any areas that you don't have any table text, right? So sometimes you may have areas in your report that between the different sections in the spreadsheet, there's a space, right? And maybe we have it so that this total net position, maybe it was spilling onto a second page, and I really wanted to keep that all on one page. What I could do is I could actually reduce the amount of space these different separators have. Okay. And all I have to do to achieve that is apply a font size of 5 to that area. So you have to do it to the entirety of the row, but I can apply a font size 5 here. And I can continue to do that to each different area. So I'm going to apply it to the first two because I want to show you what it does, and I'll leave the other two still at 10. As we go further down, we get into different borders. Okay. And going through the borders, we can see we have different ways to apply them. So perhaps I want bottom one border. You need to specify the background color. I'm going to go over this in a second as well. And then border color. So just so you know, 6Fs is white and 6 zeros is black. Okay. So if I come in here, let's say I wanted to apply just perhaps on these lines here, I wanted to go ahead and add in that border. So I click on the borders, ensure that I'm on black. If I want to double check that it is 6 zeros, I can. Then I'll go ahead and make sure that I'm using that first border option as per my style spreadsheet. So we have border bottom one. We also have options for top one, bottom double, and you'll be able to understand what these are here as well. So one, two, three, and then double. Very rarely do I ever see these inside anybody's report, so you don't need to worry about them. So I can go ahead now that I have these and I can click that border bottom one. If it was a top border, I would click the top border option. Okay. So now I can see I've applied that border. Perhaps I want to do it again here, right? Maybe total net position. I want to apply that double border, right? So how I could do this is I just want to come in here. I just want to change this to double. Click that border option. We can see it populate there. Okay, so coming through, again, if I wanted to apply borders, you have these different options here. See, I applied, by accident, I applied the double border here, right? So just want to come in here, change that, and reapply. Okay, and we could have used the paint option as well, right? So if I had these, uh, if I wanted to paint how this looks, I could copy it here and paint it there, right? And you see how it changes. It will paint the entire format, right? So that's why you saw it took away the dollar signs in this area as well. As for the background color, you may have different colors inside of your report for different areas. As you can see, we have this gray here. You may have a blue or perhaps different colors depending on your organization. And you can, of course, use those. You would use them the same way as I'm going to show you, just a different color code. But what I wanted to show you is what an inset means. So in your report, you may see you'll have table no background inset. Okay. And I want to show you what that does. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to apply it to this area here. Okay. I'm going to change the fill color, click on the plus, and I know that it's 5 Fs and an E, so I can change it like that. You can see it's still white, right? You can't tell a difference here. But what it's going to do is it's going to save space in between the lines. Okay. So it's going to squish everything together a little bit, and I'll show you how that can help us when we're going through our report. Okay. So again, different options. So if you have different inset for more, right? And if you wanted to use more inset, you can always just copy these color codes. If you have one more drastic than just the last digit changing, you could definitely come in and change the entirety of it, right? By clicking on the plus and then just pasting that color code in there. Okay. Please feel free to use the questions area, the Q&A area if you have any questions, and John will be happy to assist. The last thing I want to show you on this spreadsheet is the number formats, okay? So you'll notice if I come in here, I am able to click on these different areas. I can click on the 1, 2, 3. I don't have the different areas in here. But if I wanted to, say I wanted to have dollar amounts, let's say on these ones, I didn't have them. Actually, I'll just apply them here. So say I wanted to apply dollar amounts here, right? I could go ahead and copy this number format code. Once you start using them, they will appear in here. You'll have them saved, right? So if I come in, paste in this code, click apply, you can see we get that dollar sign, right? Now, if I came in here again, you can see that code's here already, right? And it has a little tooltip of what it does. Okay. So if I wanted to go ahead and print preview this, the first thing that needs to be done is you need to have a printable area, right? So if this was a brand new spreadsheet, this isn't something I would have on here, right? You can see print preview would be grayed out. I'd have to go ahead and create that named range. Now, in order to do that, or sorry, the reason why we do this is Gravity doesn't know what area we want to print, right? It's the same thing as when you're working in Excel, right? It doesn't know if we want all of this printed all the way down here or if we only want the data. Okay. So I can go to data, named ranges. I'll click on the plus to add a named range. Here I can specify the print area that I want to include. You'll notice that I'm keeping it as one word. I'm not using spaces to separate it. If I wanted to use an underscore to separate them, I could do that. But we want to ensure we're not using the space character in the named ranges. So from there, I can select the data, go ahead and copy all of this, click OK, and then done. Okay. And now if I wanted to just double check that it was copying the right thing, I can click on this print area here. Okay. So now once I've done that, you'll see that I still don't have that option. I do need to go into the properties under areas and in printable areas, select that one I created. If we had entire rows or columns with pure zeros, we would be able to enable these and they would suppress the entire row or entire columns that had zeros, okay? So that won't do anything for us in our case. So I'll leave them off, but I can go ahead and save. Once I've done that, I can then go down and create a generation or print preview of this. Okay. So when we're going through and you're including these different areas, right? If I wanted to say this was stretched really wide, right? And you can see here, right? We don't like how this looks, right? If I wanted to make sure that it was looking, I didn't even include these numbers. Oh, because I have the wrong font size. See how I used font size 10 here? We don't have that available inside our spreadsheet, right? We need to use these different font sizes. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to decrease all of this to a font size 9. Okay. If I already have a print preview created, I am able to just click on it and refresh that print preview. Okay. And that'll just go ahead and refresh the area for me. But in this, we'll go ahead and, oh, I missed some here. Decrease that as well. So we can see we now have this area here. We only have the 2025. We didn't include the 2024. So we just want to double check and make sure. So we do have that. I'm going to go ahead and ensure that I have all of this at font size 9. And if we wanted it to not have, see how these lines are really long, even if we had 2024 here, right? We'd want to make it maybe more centered, a little bit smaller. We are able to do that manually with our named ranges. So if I were to click on the pencil here and edit my named range to be a little bit wider, it's still going to include this entire area, okay? So I'll just change it like this, click done, right? Can see what it encompasses now, and I'll go ahead and refresh that print preview. So you are able to follow along these print previews too. If you wanted to see if there's any errors involved, you can do that. So we can see here it does have that 2025, right? We have it, see how it's more centered now, and we don't have that longer area. Oh, I know why it's the next thing I was going to show you is why it's not showing 2024. So as I had said, You can see 2024 is not included here, right? And that's because you are able to have non-printable areas. Okay, so we can select a non-printable range. You can see this one is named range 1, right? And if I go into data under named range 1, you can see it's not included. Okay, so you can select entire rows or entire columns when you're doing non-print. You aren't able to select single cells or groups of cells. So if I were to come in here and go ahead and delete this non-printable range now and save it, and then go ahead and refresh my print preview, we'll see it generate more accurately with what we were trying to see. Now we can see our 2024. So you'll notice that where we had that, we applied three spaces. It didn't indent at all, right? So this is a common mistake. Some people will be like, I've applied spaces in there. It's not indenting. Typically, you do have to make sure that you're not applying an odd amount of spaces, right? We want to make sure that we're using 2, 4, 6, 8, and so on, or it won't work. As I had said for these different areas as well, right? You'll notice that these lines are quite squished together, right? Comparative to the other areas. And this is a result of the different background color I applied, right? This is that table inset that I had discussed with you that's causing this. Now remember where we applied that font size 5, or there we go. So in these different areas, it doesn't look like it kept them. So we'll just reapply them. But in those different areas, we had that table decrease empty space, right? So if I went and applied table decrease empty space, right? I want to make sure we apply that 5, right? When I changed everything to a different font size of 9, it got rid of them, right? So apply that and I'll just refresh to show you what that does. So remember, this is how we can save space in between lines, right? So we can save space in the actual table text by applying that different background color and applying an inset. Or if we want to save space between the lines, you can see between total and deferred, it cut that space in half. Same with here, where it's not as drastic as this area, right? By applying that table background decrease empty space text size, we're able to save that space. Okay. Please, any questions from anybody, feel free to put them in the Q&A area, and John will be able to help. Um, so we have one more thing that I'd like to cover for today. I just want to go over report generation and what we can do in order to generate the report, different options we have. I'm just going to turn a few things to be not printable in it, just so it doesn't take a long time in order to generate. Keep in mind that we do have another webinar coming up as well, and it is on charts and drawing objects. Okay, so if you want to know a little bit more about them, those different areas of the report and how to edit them, stay tuned for that webinar next week. In the follow-up email, I will send more information about it as well. So as I was saying, the last thing to cover for today is how do we generate the report, right? How do we see the entirety of it? And we have a few different options, okay? So when I click on the three dots of the main folder and I go to generation, I don't have that print preview option, okay? I have generate, I have create snapshot, and I have create PDF for printing, okay? So if I were to select generate, I'll leave auto apply styles on, click generate. You'll see it starts generating inside my inbox, okay? I can click on the eye. I can follow it going through its generation process to ensure it's going through okay. Any errors, you'll see them populate in this area as well. But you're able to follow it along, okay? Once it's done, Um, I'll be able to open it in this area, but none of your colleagues will be able to see it. Okay, it doesn't get saved anywhere. It just finishes here. I can click on it and review it. Okay, this is great if you want to just take a look at it. Maybe it's not necessary for your team to see it, but it's not the best option we have, right? I would have to go ahead and download it from here, save it to my computer, and re-upload it as a PDF inside of this area, which we have a better option to do this. So if I go down to generate, we have create snapshot. And as soon as I click on create snapshot, I'm prompted where do I want to save it, right? So I'll click my review folder, click next. You're able to come in here, name it something different if you want to. One thing I'm going to turn on because I want to show you is this overlay object links. Not enough people use this, and I think it's a really great feature. So I'll explain that once it's done generating. I'll go ahead and click Create Snapshot. So again, it's going to process the request update here. Exact same. You'll notice it says Generate Snapshot instead of Generate Report. They effectively work the same. It'll be the exact same generation as we had saw, with the exception of the overlay object links that I turned on. Okay, so once this is done, we can see it's finishing generating and it's done. If I click here and I don't see it, right, this is an older one, I can go ahead and just refresh Gravity. And now I can see this new snapshot. Okay, I can double click on it, open it, and review it. And so can your team, right? They'll be able to see it as well. Now, the cool thing about this overlay object links, let's say, your reports get quite high in page numbers, right? So let's say I'm on page 300 of the report or something like that. I don't know where exactly, which section, where that is, right? I don't want to have to look for it. Instead, let's say I needed to make changes to this document. I could click on the overlay object link and it will bring me right to this document where I'd be able to make any changes that I wanted to make to this area, right? Shows me where I am in the report tree. I can make all those changes, go back to review it. Okay, so it just saves you a little bit of time going through the different areas as opposed to having to manually find them. Okay. So I wouldn't include this on the final version, right? If you're doing your final generation of your report, you don't want to have those overlay object links included, right? And the reason being is, if you printed a print version of this, you would have these blue links on it. Okay? Which leads me to the last option we have for generation, and I'm not going to go ahead with it, but if I click on the three dots under generation, we have create PDF for printing. Okay, so when I click on this, much like the create snapshot, it's going to prompt me where I want to save it. Click next. I can rename it something, but it's going to ask me for bleeds and crop marks. Okay, so whether you print a physical copy of your report, or you send it to a printing company, bleeds and crop marks are vary based on printer. They could be something you need to include. They may not be. Your printer might be okay without them. Um, but you do have that option available to you. Keep in mind that you'll see that they're in points. Okay, so if you want to work with inches, just do a point to inch conversion um, in order to achieve the desired bleeds and crop marks. Now, with the Create PDF for printing, you want to make sure you're only using this if it's your final version. Okay, the reason why is any images, designs, colors, it's going to be rastering them at a higher quality. In doing so, it's going to take longer to generate, right? So if you have a 400 page report, it's going to take a little while to generate already. So just ensuring that you have, if you're just reviewing it, using that create snapshot option instead is better than the create PDF for printing option. Now, again, if you're not printing your report, but it's still your final version, which one should you use? You can use the Create Snapshot version. You don't have to go ahead with the Create PDF for printing unless you're actually printing it. Hmm. So I'm just wrapping up now what we've gone through. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask in the Q&A. Other than that, that is all I have for you for today as far as our text formatting webinar goes. Um, I do have a Q&R code here based on the webinar. Okay. So if you have the time to answer a short uh, survey related to today's webinar, it would be greatly appreciated. Um, I will be sending up a follow-up email with the a link to the webinar, or sorry, a link to the survey. I will have the link to the recording from today's webinar, as well as I'll let you know about our upcoming webinar. So our next one we have is object formatting. Um, for Gravity, it is April 29th at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. I will include a link to register to that one if you have not already. But other than that, thank you for joining today's webinar. I will stick around for a few moments here if anybody has any questions. But otherwise, I hope you all have a great rest of your day.